Hey, I'm Tim from Circuitous Effects, and you're watching Defining Circuit. Defining Circuit is a periodic interview series where I chat with fellow creators in the music world about what inspired and defined their passion for building, the moments, ideas, experiences, and even the circuit that sparked their drive to create for musicians. I'm here with Aisha Lowe from Low Sounds today. Thanks for chatting, Aisha.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Can we start with a little about you and how you got into making pedals?
Yes, around 2014, I moved up to the Bay, and previous to that, had been playing in bands and touring and stuff. And when I got to Oakland, couldn't afford a studio anymore, rent's high, and it's a little like dangerous at night and stuff.
Yeah.
So I got depressed because I wasn't doing music, and said, how can I reconnect to music in like a way I can do in headphones, partially at first at least. And so I bought like a soldering iron and a bunch of the wrong parts
Yeah.
and like just started the learning journey, diving deep into the hole. And I started building pedals for other people in like 2018.
Okay. And so in 2014, when you decided to do this, what was your method of learning? How did you even figure out how to solder for one thing and then look at circuits and put them together for another?
I think primarily it was because I love pedals, but I play bass, and it's like some of them, now, or I didn't know then. It's just about changing a tone cap, or, some
Yeah.
little things make big differences. So I just got tired of like trying to do all these weird rigged up things like pads and attenuators and things, like trying to get
Mm,
my gain staging matched on my pedal board for bass, and just not like tone suck was. I didn't even know what tone suck was, but I was experiencing it because I'd like plug the bass right in and it's like, oh yeah, and then I go through my pedal board and it's like ding 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 ding
oh
ding
yeah.
ding.
Yeah.
So that was a drag, and so that's what like got me. Before the internet, I felt it super challenging. I'd ask around and repair people, which were all men at the time, that I would
Mm,
go to with my amp or guitar. I'd be like, can you like tell me where I'll pay, like where can I learn how to like make my pedals, see if I can make my pedals like work better for me.
yeah.
Because I love them, but they're tone sucking. And they'd always be like, just bring it in. You don't need to know about that. Da, da, da. So I was, as soon as the, YouTube and all that stuff started, I was already thinking about it.
Yeah.
So it comes from that, just like
Okay.
wanting to make them base friendly.
Yeah. So I've heard from a few other people that started back then because I didn't start until about 2019-ish, and I had already had some experience with soldering and electronics. So it was a little bit of a different journey for me, but I've heard from some people that some of the information originally on YouTube and on the internet could be misleading sometimes. And I'm wondering how maybe you dealt with that as you came across things that you thought might work and they didn't. What was your response to that?
Well, I learned as a beginner, when looking at schematics and layouts online, look for that verified tag because
Yeah.
I mean, of course, nowadays it's kind of fun to take like an unverified thing and like see if you can figure it out or whatever.
Mm,
But I think when you're a beginner and you're just, trying to learn how to solder while also learning about electronics and how to read schematics and stuff, I think that was the biggest issue, was just like I didn't even go straight to YouTube. I went to forums first. And so
okay.
I'd get a lot of links to tagboard effects and
Yeah. Yeah.
effectslayouts.com and RG Keen and all that amazing stuff. So I think that was the thing, is I didn't know about the verified versus not verified. And I'm looking at the schematic and I'm like, this doesn't seem to match up, but this person put a lot of time and energy into creating this layout, so it must be correct, but that's not true. But
Yeah.
luckily, most of the time, I find now, like in the forums, they're so established and stuff that people really take that seriously, because most of us are trying to help beginners. The vibe has like really changed from 10
Yeah.
years ago, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Like now it just feels like good and welcoming and like all that stuff.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So you're sort of known for a more artistic approach, especially with a lot of your reclaimed materials and things. Was that a philosophy you went into this thinking you'd do, or is that something that evolved over time?
Yeah, I kind of always, I think along with mods, I was also inspired by the idea of like, number one, can I fit this in a smaller box for my pedal board? Like, can I take this huge electroharmonics pedal and squeeze it down? Which the answer is no. But anyway, rehousing was always something that was on my mind, and vice
Yeah.
versa too. Like I have two aesthetics with it. Like pedal board for me are essentials as a bass player. It's a compressor preamp. Now I have an HX Stomp, just like it's small and it's
Mm,
I always use it. It's like always on type of thing. But then when you get into modulation and fuzz and all the other stuff as well, I like them as separate building blocks. And so,
mm,
as such, I want
yeah.
something smaller. So, I create these little boards. Like, I have a little fuzz board, a little modulation, and I can
Cool.
put them in the effects loop of my HX Stomp and all that and
Yeah.
have a lot of fun. But I have an equal number of like customers and friends who want pedals or things from me who just want something that's going to look dope as hell in their studio.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
living there. For example, my brother Scott down in LA, my really good friend, he sent me a Ernie Ball Music Man Stingray 2 band EQ pre
Hmm.
guts, like from a 70s Music Man bass, and said, hey, can you do your thing with this? I want it to look really cool and da 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 da.
That's fun.
And I
Yeah.
had this like huge military box. You know how we find all
Yeah.
these cool things and we try to figure out like, oh, this would be super cool. So I put it in there for him and I had these knobs that I found. I'm a big dumpster diver, salvager, and that kind of thing. And then I like custom hand etched like a Music Man badge, but it says low
Oh,
instead of
that's cool. Yeah.
man. And so, I that's probably like my favorite thing to do artistically because it's going to be pretty much like the same circuit that I would put into something smaller. Obviously, there's going to be a ton of extra room in there, but it's like
Yeah.
more for the aesthetic of the studio owner. And that was the idea behind the FM thingy because I looked at it, I was like, it's a little big, this intercom. But I have a feeling that most people are not going to take this plastic pedal on tour. They're going to keep it in their studio, which is why there's hella knobs on it. It's like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really intended to be kind of a studio desktop type of thing. And I've definitely made some in metal enclosures for folks who wanted to like have it on their pedal board and that sort of thing.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, it's weird. I kind of tend to build into like really big or really small. But I think the most popular size is that 125B enclosure, right? So I
Yeah.
kind of geared all my reproducible products, a few things that I've had on my website into that size if I can, or
Yeah.
1590A. The 1590B is just like a little bit shallow. So I've always like hated it because I always liked top jacks and this and that, whatever. But I've come to like re-fall in love with side jacks. So I'm doing a combo of side jacks on the bottom, top jacks on top.
Okay.
And so now I'm digging the 1590B. I'm a little bit skilled
Crazy.
in my building where I can deal
Yeah.
with that less depth. I'm not as scared to get in there, and side jacks are cool. So
Yeah.
now I'm working on a bunch of different like classic bass preamps that are going to be in my
Okay.
1590B and have
Okay.
space for. I don't want to put a battery clip, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm a salvager recycler, but we both know that like dying batteries on fuzz sound really cool. And let me tell you, on bass preamps, there's a lot of variation in the sound depending on
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
maybe it's my ears. I know it sounds very cork sniffery or whatever, but I hear a difference.
Mm,
And so I'm gonna probably like allow for that because I've been experimenting with it.
that's
But
great. That's really
rechargeable
cool.
batteries are fun too because they die quicker
Hmm.
than throwaway batteries. So I've been kind of having fun with that too. Like, oh, okay. So it's just happening more quickly. So I'll like get into Ableton and record that sound real quick before
Right.
it dies further.
That's hilarious.
Damn, that's good.
Yeah.
So it's all
That's
about
cool.
capturing every cool sound for me now. So whenever I'm messing with pedals or any kind of testing type thing, I put it right into Ableton, hit record. It's
No,
just
that's cool.
it's all
Yeah.
about my music in the long run. Like I'm
Yeah.
making things to make music with. So, I just hit record because I can't tell you how much magic happens when you're just screwing around.
So, as far as the artistic approach is concerned, is that something that Fiona jumped into right away? Because I know she does a lot of paint and stuff on some of your pedals. Was that kind of an exciting thing for her to get into as well?
I think it was intimidating for her because there's like a huge learning curve with aluminum enclosures. She's used to dealing with paper and
Yeah,
collage
yeah.
and paint. And so we had a lot of sad things happen with some beautiful art of hers. Like, as you know, you're sanding your prep on your
Yes.
enclosures. I mean, it's just like a nightmare
No, it's a
sometimes.
lot of
She'd
work.
do this
Yeah.
beautiful thing. I wake up the next morning, it's half gone because the acid ink
Oh,
evaporated because, oh, I didn't know you have to cure it or this or that,
oh
whatever
man.
it is. So after the learning curve, I think she liked it, but she got thrown in the fire right away because the first things that she painted in a batch were the abracadabra audio ayahuasca petals
Uh,
that Joel from Chase Bliss, I think, did the guts for and whatnot. And so she literally had a couple days near the finish line of like crying because she was just like, I don't know. I really, I want to knock this out of the park. And I don't know if I'm going to get it done in time for clear coat. So it's a little stressful because when you hand paint things, different brands of paint, different things like dry at different times. So the curing time is so much. And we used to
yeah,
do epoxy on top. So that adds another 3 days of
yeah,
curing.
yeah. Crazy.
So I did start working with, I learned Photoshop through pedal building because I was like, I can't afford to pay someone to do this. So I'm going to begrudgingly learn this.
Yeah.
And so I got in touch with Spencer from Amplify Fun, who does amazing work and has been doing like all my engraved face plates
Hmm.
and like
Oh, wow.
any silly idea I have, just like makes it even better than what my idea was. I give like my crude Photoshop file and they
That's
like,
cool. Yeah.
you know,
Is he even doing the wooden engraving as well on the wood enclosures?
actually, my really good friend Gary
Okay.
from Parts Caster Concierge, he's the one doing all the wood badges and all
Oh,
that
cool.
stuff. So between the two of them, I like
Yeah.
feel like they're half of it, you know?
No, that's incredible. That's really cool.
Because Fiona just does the hand painted stuff, and
Hmm.
then I like to do the like graphic-y. I'm very inspired by the Super Fuzz, both aesthetically and
Yeah.
the circuit. So I kind of like my whole graphic vibe is kind of based off that and Radio Shack and that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So I love wood, the look of wood and like the rich mahogany.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
so actually in 2022, I had this car accident that kind of like put me out for a while,
Hmm.
started to affect my vision, which I'm still dealing with
Hmm.
today. And the whole community like reached, it was like unbelievable. Everybody jumped in
Yeah,
and
that was
helped
an amazing, amazing
donated.
time.
It was like, I still get teary because I still can't believe it happened.
Yeah.
And it's just a testament to our community and why it's not surprising to me that DIY guitar pedal stuff has just taken off like crazy this year. You know, I will say, like, I would probably get less orders and requests because of it. But at the same time, I don't care because I think that's just awesome. And that's why I'm teaching too, because everyone's so into it because it's so welcoming, you know?
Yeah.
And, just to toot Gary's horn a little bit more, I've always been just like a purist of Fenders. I've bought every kind of bass there is, except for like, $10,000 ones or whatever. And he built me this bass body that I just like have to show you because this
Oh
is my
man, that
baby.
is
I have
beautiful.
10 basses, but I play
Wow.
this bass every day. I sent him this. I found it in the bottom of a dumpster when I was working at an eco salvage
Oh,
place.
that's
And I
amazing.
said,
Yeah.
hey, maybe you could put that. I don't know if it's for a Jaguar or Mustang or something, but it's somebody handmade this out of brass, and the knobs
Mm,
are handmade too. And it has Alan Bradley,
wow.
beautiful stuff inside. And so he sends it back to me in this body that I believe is like swamp ash. It's like gray
No,
swamp
it's
ash.
amazing. Yeah.
And he did epoxy on the front. It's purple epoxy. I hate shiny things, so he made
Uh,
me a matte pick guard. And those are vintage 1978 DiMarzios in there.
oh, wow.
I got to build my like dream bass with a fender neck, so I
Oh,
could
that's
still
amazing.
have
Yeah.
my. And so after my accident, I was so depressed, and then my dog dies. So I just kind of couldn't make pedals. I just was not playing, not doing anything, just like
Yeah.
grieving. And he sent me that like right at that time. So that just kicked off the last 2.5 years of like all I do now is take bass lessons. And I can't believe it. I'm 51 and I feel like my skills doubled since that bass came into my life because it just took an inspiring instrument to bring me back to music.
That's great.
And now it's really cool because I'm going to focus on bass pedals from now on, which is why I've like kind of been partially why I've been out of the loop is I just realized like that's what I'm really passionate about. And even though fuzz can take you on a lifelong love journey,
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
not even a guitarist, but I just love fuzz. But just kind of getting into more bass specific stuff is my wormhole now. So I'm really excited to do that
That's
moving
amazing.
forward.
Speaking of kind of going way back to when you were feeling the original tone suck from some of the pedals you were using and everything, and kind of considering all of the history that you've had leading up to today and kind of getting inspired to do bass pedals again, is there one particular circuit or pedal or something that maybe you found or even something you're still looking for that would give you the tone that you desire?
Well, since I've been on a like compressor and preamp journey for a year and a half now, just like spending too much money buying things to try, commercial things and whatnot. So I probably purchased like 20 different ones and did a bunch of
Wow.
DIY ones, maybe built 10 different ones and did a
Mm.
bunch of modding and messing around. And so I came to the conclusion that, even the most expensive compressor I bought was like $1,000, I would
Mm.
say. And the one that's on my board now, it was a DIY one. It was a kit. I don't know if you've ever heard of those chips they're those VAT chips
Hmm.
that are in the DBX compressor
Okay, no, I
circuit,
haven't.
the 160 apparently. Well, like especially for bass players, that's like a really like hot piece of compressor gear,
Hmm.
whatever. So that chip is in who made the under thruster? That's one that's like the one that got away, you know.
Okay.
Like some people have the love of their life that got away, but that's like the compressor pedal that they don't make anymore
Wow.
because those chips, as we know, what happens with the chips?
Yeah.
They get obsolete over time, which is why we hoard them. Do you get those things from Mauser? Scheduled for
Oh
obsolescence.
yeah,
I'm like,
totally.
oh, I
Yeah.
need $300 right now.
And the price goes down so much, I might as well get,
Oh,
a hundred
Mauser knows
thousand.
how to hustle those volume discounts.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't made an Mauser order since this tariff thing. And so I keep hearing stuff like, oh,
Mm.
it's 4 times the price now. Tato's 4 times the price. And because I usually do one big order 4 times a year or whatever, I haven't ordered in a long time. And so have you experienced this?
I haven't
So,
yet. I actually haven't made an order in a while either. Speaking of hoarding, I have so much stuff right now that it's kind of like, I'm able to pull from what I have, but I'm sure that's going to come and we're all going to experience that. It's unfortunate.
yeah, it is. And there's certain things that you really can't hoard because they don't last that long, like electros and things. So I never really do like big time stock up on them. Now I'm just
Right.
like, oh, that's going to get expensive. And a bunch of different things. So I don't know. I personally, this isn't my like full time income. During COVID, it definitely was, which
Yeah.
was like sick. I couldn't believe it, to tell you the truth. Like, I'm still kind of in shock about the pedal movie and just like the fact that in 2021 and 2022, I was literally building pedals 7 days a week for people.
That's
And
insane.
it just blows my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then slowly, as the world comes back online and life starts getting more and more expensive, it just makes you realize, like, wow, people are spending like their hard earned money on this stuff. And I want to make it even more special and more of a value moving forward because I don't know about everybody else, but I'm definitely feeling it. Like when I buy a pedal, I generally can't even keep it. I buy
Yeah.
it so I can check it out and see, oh, do I like this compressor? And if it's not going to work for me, I have to flip it because I can't
Yeah.
afford to keep, at one point I had like 300 pedals and it was so fun. But number one, the storage space is expensive. And number two, it's like the only way I can afford to even do my research is to flip them. It's a shame, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But I really appreciate it when people purchase our things because we really are doing as much of it by hand as possible and bringing our friends in our community in too. So it's not just like helping us get by financially. Like, I like to give Spencer orders. I like to give Gary orders.
Yeah.
All my, my friends that also are makers, like anytime we can do collaborations and things, like I think the person who receives that pedal is getting just like such a work of art.
Yeah.
So many minds and hearts are going into it in that sense.
Yeah. Well, Aisha, it has been incredible speaking with you today. Thank you so much.
Likewise. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And thanks everyone for watching. If you've enjoyed the conversation, stick around. More interviews are on the way where I'll keep exploring all the things that define why we do what we do. See you next time.